likes to play a rousing game of guess what's in my mouth.
All right. So, thank goodness you guys missed that first part. Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
We got another episode of Zeros for Hire here for you. We got some special guests. We got our friend Chuck. We got our friend Billy. Friends, co-workers of Bedrock City. We got something special for you today, of course. Obviously, you know, we got video, so this will be our second video to upload.
You're with us again.
Right? Thanks for coming, guys. It's like they know what we look like now. Before, you know, it's just a little picture on our SoundCloud profile that you can't see very well. So now they know what we look like, which is funny.
Now they got it in HD.
Faces made for radio.
They can't find you, though.
Right.
That's all right.
Exactly.
I don't know. That might be nice.
So, yeah, no Tony here today, guys, because he had the day off, but he just didn't want to, like, show up and record, so forget him. What were we doing today? I think we were doing Iron Fist, right?
Iron Fist episode,
Iron
right?
Fist.
Yes,
Yeah,
Iron Fist
yeah.
comics. Let's talk
Boom.
about Iron Fist.
Here, wait, hold on. You hold it a little bit closer so you guys can see. Boom. Little Iron Fist action.
Wait. I thought we were doing Wolverine.
Oh, wait, are we?
We
I
can
showed
still
up
do
for
that.
Wolverine. That's
Yeah.
not.
We can still do Wolverine.
Oh, check it.
What is this fanciness?
So,
Walk it up there. Show them.
So, what is the significance of?
let me see if it's in
this-
frame, because I don't know if it's going to be in frame or not.
What is the significance of this Iron Fist?
Boom, you see him right there?
What's cool about this Iron
Boom.
Fist?
That
Billy?
is the first released image of Wolverine ever by Marvel Comics. Some people are trying to call it a first appearance these days. Take that with a grain of salt. It's probably better classified as a promotional appearance.
Yeah.
But this is the first image any Marvelite ever saw of Wolverine.
Now
Boom!
let me ask you
And
something.
it's also in Daredevil 115, so you got two first appearances. That's wrong.
It was literally printed with ink on paper before it was printed in that comic book where he fights Hulk.
So what people classically know as the first appearance is the 180.
Hulk 181.
And the
I know it
181.
as 181.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what the ad really did tell us.
I'm
This
sure it
is
was
the
on
November
somebody's
issue.
sketchpad before that. but-
Interesting. This is November.
This was November. This tells you to be ready for him in July. So
Oh,
what's
so-
that? Anybody good at month math?
No,
No.
but I've already gone through my head, and yes, it's a lot of months.
It was a few months before.
Yeah, just a few before. Just a few.
So that is the first image of Wolverine
Yeah.
people got to see.
So with that being said, obviously, ta-da! Wolverine episode. We're
episode.
talking about Wolverine today.
No, that being said, if this was y'all's first time ever seeing that character in an ad, how would y'all feel about that? If somebody
What kind
who,
of like
who likes
emotional
Wolverine
response?
and you know is very fond of the character and somebody that's appreciates everything that they've done with the character, how would you feel if that was the first thing you saw?
I would be pretty excited. I mean, they give you some classic stuff right off the bat. Claws out, coming at you in a nice action pose.
Classic Kirby pose.
They refine the mask later on, and he gets a little more recognizable, but
Because they lose the kitty whiskers.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was really funny. His original costume had like these little whiskers.
Snip.
Yeah, he's like, rawr.
hey, people aren't born cool, they grow into it.
Yeah, that's true. He definitely grew into it, though. I mean,
Billy's still waiting for that moment.
I feel
I'll
like
get there.
Wolverine is like one of those characters like Captain America, Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, where they're recognizable everywhere in the world.
Sure.
You can show anybody Wolverine in any of his costumes, and they're instantly like, oh, that's Wolverine, that's who it is, I know who that character is. I mean, of all the X characters and all the mutants that have ever come out, I mean, Wolverine is the most popular one.
You could make
I mean,
the case.
there's never been any other mutant actively in as many titles as Wolverine has been. Maybe Deadpool now, since Deadpool is
He's
huge.
not a mutant.
True. Oh, that's right.
Not a
Yeah,
mutant cult.
not a mutant. Good
Remember,
call.
Spider-Man, not a mutant.
Yeah,
Hulk, not a mutant.
yeah. I mean, like traditional, like X-Gene mutant. Wolverine. I mean, he was in New Avengers
He was
for a
in more
while.
books than
He was in like
everybody
3 of
else.
his own ongoing books. He was in like 2 of the X-Men books.
Hell, last year he was a teacher and a retiree,
Yeah.
and
I
he was a
mean,
lifeguard.
I
and
think
he
at
was
some
just
point
whatever.
he was like in like 7 titles. I don't think there's
Yeah.
been any other like mutant gene character that's been involved in so many different books at
Well,
one time.
His real mutant ability is to be in all these places at the same time.
Right. So you're saying he's multiple man, and he
He's
just like
multiple-
creates all these copies of
Multiple
himself that
man
are in all these other
I kind of
books.
wish they'd do that with Multiple Man, where they put
Right.
him in all the different books. You know, he just shows up, you know, and
Right.
you're like, oh, it's Multiple Man again. That makes sense.
But since it's a copy, he can't really do anything. He's just like a normal guy.
He's
He's
just
like,
there.
because the copies can't make copies. Only
Yeah,
like
no,
the
no,
original.
the
They
copies can, yeah, yeah.
So they'll just keep making copies.
Oh,
I think they can. I'm
I
almost
thought only-
positive.
Jamie Madrox making copy.
right. Okay, so
that
back on
concludes
topic.
another episode.
Right. Thanks for listening,
Zeros
guys.
for Hire.
That was awesome. We appreciate your time. So let's start with a general origin of Wolverine, because people typically think that it was this Weapon X thing that they had created.
Oh,
just
I know.
for-
I know Wolverine's origin. He's
His parents were shot in an alley, right?
Oh, wait.
No, his parents
I think
were
that
eaten by a saber tooth or something,
Oh,
and he got claws or something through the saber tooth blood. I
Yeah.
loved it.
there's,
That's
I mean,
totally
No,
not
Sabretooth was
correct.
his brother, according to the movie. That's one of my.
That's
that-
also probably not correct, but
Yeah.
What is?
Been proven wrong. in the
He's-
books.
yeah.
Give me his origin.
nothing has been
couldn't tell you.
proven. But
Well,
it's definitely convoluted.
Is his real name Logan or not?
no,
I
it's
can
not.
I can give you guys this much. Wolverine's origin, as you read it in the 2001 or 2 series origin,
I think it was 2001.
2000 I think.
I think
This
so.
one right here,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that one right there. Let's check it out. It's printed in there. It's gotta be.
Copyright. 2002.
Oh shoot!
For all you readers out there. Boom. This is Casada. It looked good. But I mean, didn't this
How-
get like undone at some point?
However,
No.
this is not the true original idea of the origin for Wolverine.
It's not.
Is this the one you accept?
It's the one that's in canon now because this other one never actually made it to print under Wolverine's name or in one of his titles. But it did show up with a Marvel character somewhere in the Marvel universe. They got the original origin that Wolverine was supposed to have. Does anybody know what that might be?
I know because you've told me it.
I know
I-
because
we had
this
he's been so excited about knowing.
I think I read it in a Wizard, and then you told me a couple of
Yeah.
years ago. And
Spider-Woman.
yes,
Jessica
Dun
Drew.
dun dun.
The original origin for Wolverine was he was going to be an evolved Wolverine evolved by the High Evolutionary from Wendigo.
That damn high evolution.
And this
He's
was
always
going to
getting into
account
things.
for the fact that Wolverine at one time exhibited animal tendencies or animal abilities with
Wait.
huh?
I love this. This is great.
What?
So the high evolutionary
Yeah.
took a real Wolverine
Took a real little
and
Wolverine
super evolved it into.
Into Wolverine.
into Schnick Schnick.
he does that all the time.
So
Yeah.
mad that is not the actual origin.
You
Well,
never-
Spider-Woman got it. Why is it
Yeah,
not great
exactly.
for her?
They just decided to use it for Spider-Woman instead of, you know,
He made
Wolverine.
the midwife, right? Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch's midwife, the Bova, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it was the same
that's
deal.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mid-
If you
Midwife?
really know your Marvel, he
Yeah.
also helped create the Headman.
Yeah.
But that's
right.
The what?
going way back.
The what?
The Headman.
Headman.
The Headman. He took human bodies, popped
Please
their
don't
heads
Google
off,
that.
and put animal heads on top of them.
Yeah.
Including,
Huh.
you never seen
Wait, was
Ruby Orb?
Yeah.
It's just a red ball and a woman's head and a woman's body all the way down to the floor. But
That's a sick dude.
the red bulb can stick things out like hands and make things come out of its head.
Yeah.
Like the Green Lantern ring?
Kind
Yeah.
of, yeah.
Okay.
Except
Oh
his
my
head
God.
constructs.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which is
But
weird.
anyway,
But then, you
yeah.
know, this is the origin of, like, the bone claws, though,
No,
right?
it's not.
Well,
Because, well, granted, it showed up in regular Wolverine.
Wolverine 75.
But
What?
this is where they show, oh, he's had this since he was a kid, and that it was the adamantium over the bone claws, right? This is
pretty
where they gave the
much.
origin to the bone claws.
that. Well, just before we
Interesting.
move into that, let me at least finish up
It's
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
by
Yes,
saying
yes,
that
yes.
they did
yes.
at least mention
Yes.
this original idea for Wolverine in one of the issues, X-Men '99, when Stephen Lang has the X-Men, trapped on Asteroid M. The X-Men are chained up, and the technicians are going through taking their biometric readings, whatever they're doing. They stop at Wolverine and
Funny
say, "Say guys, This guy is not like the other guys. His readings are totally different. It's all wrong. Something's up with him. And it was never mentioned ever again.
Ever again.
Didn't they do the when they
Star
were
wipe.
a few issues later at Cassidy?
If I can
It
figure
just
out how
gets
to
into
put
that-
one,
it
I'm gonna
just gets-
star wipe this right here.
The leprechaun or the fairy
It's a
guy.
Mitch's sketch.
Didn't he say something about Wolverine being an overgrown Wolverine? It was kind of a put off as like a joke, but you kind of got like an inkling that it was something bigger.
Yeah.
It was. Wolverine's had a lot of interesting clues and red herrings.
Yeah. I mean, there was that story that Jeff
Yeah.
Loeb did where, like, him and Sabretooth are this ancient line of, like, prehistoric, like, Wolverine, like, Sabretooth people.
Well, you
yeah.
got to remember
Great.
this.
Yeah,
Wolverine's
Jeff Loeb.
Wolverine's big hook for him in the 70s and 80s was the fact that nobody knew anything about him, and Marvel did not put out but a few little
Like little tidbits
little
here and
things
there.
here and there. There is not a 20-issue exploration of Wolverine's past, present, and future. These are little clues. It took almost 4 years before you got the name Logan
Yeah.
out of it.
And then he's, like, Canadian.
So his the biggest part of his popularity in the beginning was a lot of it was due to mystery. You
Yeah.
just did not know.
Also didn't know his claws were part of him initially. You thought they might have been part of his costume. They never really went into it. They
It
just-
took about maybe 15 or more issues before Banshee discovered
yeah.
that
Comes out of his hand.
when he takes the glove off, the claws are still there.
Yeah.
But
But that's when he used to be able to open his hands with his claws out. Because now it's like when his claws are out, he can't open his hands.
When did this happen?
Like he has to like keep his muscles like.
I think it
Is
depends
the
Clenched
on
and
movies where
contracted.
Sabretooth is his
Yeah. There was this weird thing where it's like, oh, when his fists are contracted is when the claws are out, but he can't like open his hands apparently or something weird like that. I mean, like I said, Wolverine has been like super convoluted and oh, we're gonna add this. Oh no, wait, now we're gonna take this out. Oh, now this is this. I mean, the basic origin story that most people know is that he was Weapon X experiment, and he had the healing factor, and then they throw the adamantium on him. And I mean, that's essentially like the first like backstory that we really start to find out
Wait.
about him.
well,
Weapon X program.
no,
What's
the
that?
backstory. The backstory starts pretty fast with issue 109, which is first appearance of Guardian Alpha Flight. Shout out what?
If you didn't know, Billy really likes Alpha Flight a whole lot.
A whole
so
lot.
that probably
Alpha Flight is-
discounts anything I'm saying by 50%. But still listen to me anyway.
Really? You
He still likes
That's
it.
amazing.
But,
Still likes
Show the camera. Tell him.
I painted this because it's beautiful. I love this. Is my favorite panel from this book right
That's
here.
really cool.
Yeah,
He's
it's a
walking-
classic image.
He's walking through the snow. Hell, every picture of him walking through the snow is awesome.
Yeah.
It looks
Hey.
Gary Windsor.
I only read this book because I like snow.
Hey, I
Not because you cared about Wolverine.
What is that?
This was the
I didn't read the first
the
nine.
first time they tried to go after an origin. This is the Weapon X book.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome, kind of hard to follow because it's very
Weapon
dreamlike. He's coming in and out of consciousness a lot, and it's written in a very disorienting way. But the artwork throughout is fantastic, and
Beautiful.
it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
There's a ridiculous amount of murder in this book, especially for something that was approved by the Comic Code. It's pretty fantastic, but you got to understand you didn't get everything. You just got the
Okay.
mad science experiments that gave him the adamantium, and they also didn't tell you about the claws or the bone claws in this. You found out, you thought they were part of the experiment in this.
Yeah.
Again, that's Marvel giving you something, but not giving
Giving
you
you everything.
Everything. Yeah.
Well, because then when they give you everything up front, then it's hard for anybody else to like make the character their own. Because it's like,
Well-
oh, well, it's so well defined now. We have to retcon so much just to, like change this even
Well,
like a tiny
well, again,
bit.
you know, like I said, so much of his popularity in the '80s, I think, rested on the mystery of him.
The
And then
anonymity.
sometimes, if the mystery gets too big, the answer for these questions might not live up to 10
The
years worth of
expectation.
hype.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Trying to think.
I like that we're going through his origins slowly in chunks.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, that's how you get it. Like you
Sure.
were saying, you just get like little bits
so
and
we've
pieces
moved
here
to
and
the
there.
Weapon X idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that he was put through that's the widely accepted one.
Well,
Yeah.
let me at least mention this.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
please.
it
Boom.
right there.
Because you know we're rock stars. here at Bedrock City 1960.
We've
so,
got the books, people.
So we got these books. Come buy them from
Hey,
us.
the Washington store is not too shabby.
Yeah.
We had that recently.
Bedrock City has got your books.
Yeah.
Whichever
Hey,
location.
guess what? We got a couple of these. Bring it, son. That's how we roll. You know, we rolled 3 deep on that Wolverine #1.
But
And I'm printing more in the back right now.
yeah, we got our
Hurry
3D
up.
printer
drawing 'em.
working on it.
But no, this is important because probably one of the biggest shifts in Wolverine's still forming popularity and personality. This connects Wolverine to Japan
Yeah.
and introduces the idea that he's a Ronin, a masterless samurai. He was in Japan for some reason at some time and failed at what he was trying to do and
Yeah.
be there.
Which
Yeah.
is, I think, one of the coolest elements of Wolverine's origin and histories is, you know, the time in Japan. Because, you know, in other books, that's how they reference Wolverine as, like, you know, this, like, lone samurai who's on, like, this private mission of, like, you know, revenge or whatever or what have you.
I always liked it because it gave him, well, up to that point he'd been kind of the hothead kind of
The savage beast.
Yeah, he was always kind of the guy that they had to. He was kind of the jerk, you know. He was Raphael from the Ninja Turtles.
That's right, bub.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly.
you dare compare anybody to him.
Oh, he's totally the same. He's the same guy, which is weird because I'm a Leonardo guy in Ninja Turtles, but it's
Right?
anyways.
He's a
Wolverine up to that
Leonardo guy.
point.
Get outta here.
No, he's cool. He's got the swords.
That's the way.
Stick that blue stuff on your face.
But in this one, it was showing. At least my takeaway from it was that at some point, and it's a continuing thing with him, is he's always trying to control himself. He's always been trying to hold the monster in him at bay, and even prior to the Weapon X program, he'd had problems with it apparently because this has happened. I think before. It's hard to gauge with the Wolverine timeline, especially at this point in time, but.
The way I've always fit this into continuity for Wolverine is this is something that happened before the X-Men.
But after Weapon X.
But, well, if you notice, Ogun makes reference to some of the fact that Wolverine has claws now.
Yeah.
So I think this takes place before he was even possibly snatched for
Yeah.
Weapon X. So it is a little indiscriminate in the time frame there.
Yeah.
But in my mind, that's where I situate it.
All right. Well, I liked it a lot because of the fact that it shows that he's always been at odds with himself.
Frank Miller.
Yeah.
And he does not
It's back
get
when
what
Frank
he's
Miller's
after
doing
in
really
the
great
story.
work.
Wolverine technically loses.
Well, I mean, doesn't Wolverine always lose?
Ah,
he wanted
He can't
Jean.
die.
He wanted Jean. He didn't get that. He wanted Storm. He didn't get that. I mean, Wolverine doesn't ever get. He's like the whipping boy.
Well, the thing about
but
it
the
is
reason is
He
that
became a
he can't-
babysitter.
He can't be
No, he gets
killed.
Jubilee.
So he's like the button for punishment.
Wolverine is about perseverance, not about winning.
Yeah, exactly.
true.
And
He
like-
does win
surviving.
quite a bit though.
But he survives through it.
Yeah.
Of course, he can't be killed by anything.
Yeah. Well,
What doesn't kill you
Except-
makes you
except
stronger.
like molten
Nothing kills
animation,
you.
apparently,
Everything
but-
makes you
Yeah.
stronger.
All right.
But even still, that
There you
didn't
go.
kill him right away. He still,
I'm
like,
pretty
walked,
sure he's
like,
not dead. I'm pretty sure they just
50,
Han
20
soloed him. He's locked away in there in
Yeah.
a regenerative state because he hit himself with that.
Did he? I didn't think he hit himself. I
You
thought
didn't
he hit,
see it, but it was right there on the freaking table. Why would they put that there unless
Yeah,
something
because he
Something
used
to
it on the
everybody.
other kids instead.
He
Well,
used
that's-
that one on them so that at least they could do it.
Maybe.
So at least they would survive. But
You know
I
what?
don't
His
know.
healing factor's gonna kick in.
Yeah.
Well,
Superboy
hold on.
Prime's gonna punch
Well,
reality.
like-
Wolverine's gonna wake up inside that statue.
That'd be like the
and
one
freak
time
out.
I'd be happy that Superboy
did anything?
started with
something?
anything, you know?
Well, we'll get back to that.
We'll get back to
that
Superboy.
because that's a little bit later
Yeah,
down the
it
line
is.
of Wolverine.
Sorry.
Where are we at?
Um,
Where are we at right now in Wolverine?
So Japan.
Wolverine the
Probably.
series.
Probably the next step that is worth mentioning
Is the Madripoor.
out of the 80s comes out of a little forgotten book, Marvel Comics Presents.
Boom. Yeah, we got this
I
one too,
forgot.
son.
Yeah.
All kinds of good stuff.
The first 10 issues of Marvel Comics Presents directly set up his 1988 Volume 1 series.
Yeah.
Again, keeping with establishing the fact that Wolverine has had different involvements in different places around the world before anybody knew anything of him. So here you're going to Madripoor. I'm telling you, he is drawing more Wolverine #1s.
I'm doing it. I'm like, are we in Madripoor right now? I get that out. Hold on. I'm at Hulk 180. I'm having problems with. I'm having trouble with these whiskers.
These kitty whiskers just won't sit right.
Kitty whiskers, I might
Just remember to sign it shrimp. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Don't put Guerrero. But no, I mean it establishes the fact that he was involved in this shadowy, really rough and tumble sort of what would you call it?
Like organized crime thing almost.
Shipping. Madripoor is a little coastal island off some made-up country, but yeah, it's very seedy, very underbelly.
It's like almost like black market, like dealings,
right?
And, stuff like that.
People get snatched up and disappear and don't come back, and it introduces Tiger, who is basically a gang leader.
Tatooine.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's basically a gang lord on one side of town, and then the other gang lords are trying to muscle in on her.
Yeah.
And so Wolverine goes back as an old favor to an old friend to kind of help her out.
Yeah.
But all this directly sets up his Volume 1, #1.
Yeah.
Which was a fantastic cover.
John Buscema.
Yeah. Wolverine standing on top of
all the
pile
dead
of bodies.
fucking ninjas.
Yeah, it was so cool.
And I always thought that was like one of the cool things about Wolverine is that he's fought robots, he's fought monsters, he's fought aliens, he's fought ninjas. I mean, literally, he has fought everything the Marvel Universe has to offer. He's fought robot sentient organisms in the Phalanx. He's fought alien life forms.
Evil
in the
versions
Brood.
of himself.
Yeah, evil versions of himself.
He fought Magneto, which was a bad idea.
Yeah, I mean, he's fought and
A
killed
knife
the
fought a
X-Men.
magnet.
He's fought ninjas, robots, other mutants, other super. I mean, Wolverine has
Alcoholism.
fought. Well, no, because he can't get
Not
drunk.
really, but-
That, you're thinking
Well-
Iron Man.
No, he fought it and he's winning.
Yeah,
Again, one thing to remember: Wolverine smokes and drinks
but it doesn't affect him.
for about 15 years in his original incarnation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Could
now
you-
he doesn't.
I mean,
I think he drinks still. I don't think he smokes anymore.
You remember X-Men 172, right? The wedding issue where it's the wedding invite.
Yeah, and he's just like
And on
pounding down beers.
the cover it says, "Hey Elf, don't forget the beer."
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was their bond.
Yeah.
is that they would drink
X-Men
together.
Annual 11.
Wolverine and
comes home
Nightcrawler?
drunk whistling.
Yeah,
And it even tells you, okay, I'll be fine in about 20 minutes. I'll
Yeah.
sit,
he like metabolizes it out quicker.
Remember
because
that
it's fat.
Or
issue
Nightcrawler.
in when they
He's
were
like,
living in
bam,
Australia and
bam,
Wolverine and Havoc were having the drinking contest?
Oh, yeah.
Every time he like
And
hurls,
Havoc
he
was
like
losing
teleports.
ridiculously.
Like, bloop.
I thought that was kind of cool.
So it's like a spot
not
here
fair.
and then like a
It's not
spot
fair
here.
at all.
That's
but-
not fair at all. He shouldn't have done that to him.
Well,
Yeah.
Havoc should have known better. He'd been paying attention. You know?
And I think it's funny how Wolverine has become all these different things. He's been like the savage killer. He's been like this elite mercenary. He's been the trained assassin. He's been the samurai. He's been the mentor, the teacher, the buddy, the best friend, the evil guy. I mean, I think these relationships that he has with certain characters, like this like really like kind of like cute relationship that he has with like Jubilee and like Nightcrawler, I always thought was their kind of way of like balancing that harsh side of the character. It's like, everything we show in him is always really violent, but we need these certain characters that like lighten his tone, lighten his mood.
That's his redemptive qualities.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, you just reminded me of a really good issue of Wolverine. The Greg Rucka run, I believe it was in the mid to early 2000s. It was probably issue 13. It was a really cool story where Wolverine wound up running across some human traffickers, and he just brutally murdered everybody.
Because that's what he does.
Because he finds bad people, he kills them.
Yeah.
But he had to check in with Nightcrawler because Nightcrawler, it was always assumed this was the case, but they kind of like hit home that Nightcrawler is kind of his sounding board whenever he starts to lose it. Yeah, he had
And
to
that's
check
the
with
whole like
Nightcrawler.
religious
Yeah.
side of
Yeah,
like
it's conscious.
Nightcrawler. You know?
Right.
And him and Wolverine and Nightcrawler meet in a bar, and the whole issue is Wolverine and Nightcrawler meeting in a bar, and Wolverine is confessing to Nightcrawler, saying, "I've done some really bad stuff over the last
Yeah.
couple of days, and I just need I need you to tell me I'm still a good person."
Yeah.
And Nightcrawler basically tells him, "I know you, I know who you are, and if you killed these people, they probably earned it. I don't agree with that, but it was a really good issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, what happens
That's deep.
happens.
It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah, there's like, this really like kind of like tragic monster Frankenstein kind of thing to Wolverine, where, you know, everybody sees him one way as like this monster, this beast, this savage, but then it's like, oh well, no, there's more to it than that. It's just that there's only these few characters that they ever show, and
He's afraid of fire and likes violins.
right, he likes long
What do
walks
you
on the
read?
beach.
Star Comics
Wolverine
Wolverine.
or
Right,
something,
exactly.
Franken-Punisher. I'm sorry.
Frankenveen.
Frankencastle was great.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Nightcrawler died and they had all the characters that
the
were doing
piano
their-
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
Do you remember
awesome.
the where he had a thing where Nightcrawler wanted him to take this piano to this whatever church?
It was like a monastery up on
thing
this
up
mountain.
on the mountain.
yeah.
He's like, there's no the mountain that has no entrances to the place. You have to climb up there.
Yeah.
And so he climbed up there with it. Did y'all read that?
No.
I vaguely remember
He
that.
climbed up. I mean, that's a whole issue of him thinking about all the stuff him and Kurt used to do and stuff
Yeah.
like that. And him dragging this piano. And he's like pulling up the side of the mountain and he's fighting to keep it okay. And he finally gets it to the top and he pushes it up to the door. And he knocks on the door and he's like, I brought, he told me to bring a piano. And it's like, why? Nobody here knows how to play piano.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? he was like,
They're
look.
like, got him!
And he was like, he left it there, and nobody knows how to play it. And most
Yeah.
people, and he left it there, and he went and he said thought about him. It was all sad and everything. And I was like,
He's
man,
like,
that's-
ha!
what a douchebag!
Got him.
Yeah.
Well,
What a turn!
that gives me
All
good
that
ideas
stuff
for
he
my
does.
final wishes. I want people to build a rocket ship.
Right.
We're gonna break through the Van Allen belt. I want you to just close to the moon, just close to the moon, and then I want you to take my favorite copy of Wolverine, and read it to yourself, and think of me, and then come back down.
They're like, well, how do we get down? How do we get down?
Oh, I
We
thought
didn't
he was
play
getting-
for that.
I thought he was getting to something about us throwing the comic onto the moon, and I was like, dude, that's so cool.
I was thinking there was going to be a dude up there they couldn't read.
It's got-
For you, Billy.
Well, just like Wolverine screwed, Nightcrawler and
Yeah.
dragging a piano,
Yeah.
the other way around. You get to the. I've done it for you, buddy.
Yeah.
You're my best friend.
Where?
We've been through thick and thin, and I've carried out your final wish, and I'm about to deliver it now. Here you go. Here's your piano, people. What the hell is this?
Why is this here? What are you doing? Are you
So-
drunk?
I don't know
But
who
see,
Kurt is.
The way my final wishes are going to come down is you have to complete one stage before we find out what the next one is, so we can have an ending similar to this. So when you get up in space with my issue of Wolverine, and you're like, yeah.
It's like, watch the rest of the video now.
We're good. Yeah. Now you have to read it
Now
out
press
loud
play.
using voices.
Right? That would be really great.
Voice of
Whatever.
Wolverine.
Where are we?
Yeah, as
we're
far as
getting
go.
off track.
Yeah, okay, so Wolverine and Madripoor, which sets up a lot of background. We're forgetting Silver Samurai, because, the fights with Wolverine and Silver Samurai. Forget the movie, guys.
Yeah.
That was garbage. Trust
If
us,
you didn't
we
see
know.
the movie, forget it anyway.
Yeah, if you did see it, hopefully you saw it for free.
Hope you saw the first
Up to the
Wolverine
very
Origins too.
last 30 minutes, that was a decent movie.
I thought the meched out Silver
See-
Samurai robot was kind of absurd,
Once
It was-
again,
it was
this
out
was
there.
supposed to be based on this,
but they missed the mark.
and the way this story ends is a one-on-one confrontation between Wolverine and Mariko's father.
Yeah.
And
Lady
and-
Deathstrike's father.
No.
No,
No,
that's
his
Yukio.
wife is Mariko.
Mariko was who he
I
wanted to
thought
marry.
Mariko
Yukio
was...
was his sort of girl servant that he got assigned when he came back to Japan.